Now, the Met Office has warned of further heavy downpours in areas already flooded as a result of Storm Babet. The Environment Agency said flooding could last until Wednesday in parts of England.
Well, it said about 1,250 homes in England had already been impacted and 30,000 properties needed more flood protection.
Well, there are yellow weather warnings for heavy rain, which could lead to further flooding in the East Midlands, much of Yorkshire, including Sheffield, Leeds and York, and Humberside.
Well, the Scottish First Minister went to Brechin in Angus, where dozens of homes were flooded when the River South Esk burst its banks. He described the damage as devastating. The Minister for the Environment has been forced to defend the government's record on flood defence spending.
We've invested £2.6 billion in flood defences right across the country. That was over 300,000 homes. We're partway through a programme. We're spending a further £5.2 billion over a 6-year time period. Now, I'm conscious that doesn't matter to them because their homes are being flooded today. So one of the things that the Member of Parliament, Brendan, inviting me up was to come and see some of this directly. I know that this was some of the roads that were evacuated following a severe flood warning. The Chief Executive of the Environment Agency is elsewhere in Nottinghamshire today. I think it's important to come and see people whose lives have been disrupted.
Well, Senior Meteorologist for British Weather Services, Jim Dale, joins us now. Very good to see you this morning, Jim. That's very official, wasn't it? You're also a friend of the programme, may I say. But this is bad news, isn't it, for these areas that have already been decimated by these floods?
Yeah, good morning, Ellie. We were watching the world over the last 6 or 7 months, watching what was happening around the world in terms of the various disasters that were going on. It was a matter of time before we managed to see one ourselves, and this was it, Storm Babet. And yet, in some areas, these kind of events that you're showing on TV were at record levels in terms of the rainfall, in terms of river heights. So, yeah, this has got a little bit of climate change on it. That isn't to say these storms can't have happened without it. They could. But climate change has a knack of adding to it, and that's exactly what we've seen in this case, Ellie.
I mean, the issue here, Jim, seems to be, and I hate to sound like a doom-monger, but as the clean-up operation gets underway, and it takes time, we know that, there is more rain on the way, isn't there? I mean, it might not be as bad, but you've got saturated ground and rivers already very high.
Yeah, it's a bit like you filled your bath, it's overflowed, the floor's a mess, and you've still got that bathwater in there, but sadly you've still got the tap on, and that's exactly what's going on here. We've got more low pressures. In fact, at the moment we've got Storm Bernard, which affected Morocco, Spain. It's worked its way up as a feature, and for the next couple of days that's going to be hanging around, giving us more sporadic outbreaks of rain here and there. Quite difficult for meteorologists to get hold of exactly where, but looking forward for the next 2 or 3, 4 days, it actually looks like the southern counties are going to see quite a deluge, 1 to 2 inches, never mind the areas that you've already mentioned that are already flooded. So you're right, this time of year evaporation doesn't work very well, so it's a hard slog to come out of what we're in at this moment in time.
OK, Jim Dale, very good to see you this morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good.